Worked examples. Write down the energy transformations for each of the following cases. So we will be having a diagram on the right, and in each case we have to identify what type of energy it started off as and what it was changed into. Number 1. A solar cell. So this is a device that turns sunlight into electricity. Therefore we have sunlight, which is light energy, becoming electrical energy. Number 2. A battery charger. What does a battery charger do? A battery charger is connected to the mains electricity and it is used to get charge back into the battery, that's why it's called a charger, so that the battery can then function with whatever device it was planned. It could be a battery charger for a car, it could be a battery charger for your phone, or maybe you have rechargeable batteries that you use for any reason. So what are the energy changes in a battery charger? Since we said it starts off as at the mains electricity, then it must start from electrical energy. Now, since it is charging a battery, and the battery stores energy in the form of chemicals, then the final form of energy will be chemical energy. Moving on to page 30. Number 3, 4, 5 and 6. Pause the video for a minute and try out number 3, 4, 5 and 6 on your own. You may refer to the forms of energy we mentioned on page 26 and 27 so that you are able to get your answers. Pause the video, try them out, and then see whether you got them correct or not. Now that you have tried them, let's see what the answers are. Number 3. A wave generator. As you can see from the diagram, and we had discussed earlier on, a wave generator creates electricity from the motion of the waves hitting it. Therefore, if there is motion originally, it has to be kinetic energy. Since the generator will create electricity, then we will have electrical energy. Number 4. A solar panel. Now, to make sure we don't mix this up with number 1, which was that of a solar cell, we're going to refer to this as a solar water heater. Now, what does a solar water heater do? It uses the sun's rays to heat up our water. If it's going to start from the sun's rays, it has to be light energy. And since at the end we will get hot water, then the final form of energy is going to be heat energy. We may also call it thermal energy. It means the same thing. Number 5, a crane lifting weights. Now this depends on what type of crane it is. In fact, we're going to split this question in two, and we will take 2 cases. The first being a crane that is powered by electricity. The second would be an example where the crane is powered by fuel. So the first one, if it is powered by electricity, whenever we have electricity, we have to have electrical energy that is turning into gravitational potential energy, since the object is being lifted upwards. If the crane is powered by fuel, fuel is always chemical energy, and once again, the final form of energy is going to be gravitational potential energy. Because a crane, whether it works with electricity or with fuel, at the end you need it to lift something upwards, therefore giving it gravitational potential energy. Number 6, a wind turbine. We mentioned in previous lessons that a wind turbine gets energy from the wind that is passing from air currents, which spin the blades of the turbine, which are in turn connected to a generator that creates electricity. So if we start with the wind, and specifically moving wind, since we have motion, then we have to have kinetic energy, and this will turn into electrical energy. Going on to page 31, the final two. A falling object. Now for something to fall, it has to be higher up. If it is higher up off the ground, then it has to be gravitational potential energy, which as it goes down, its speed will start to increase, therefore turning into kinetic energy. Finally, a hydroelectric power station. Now we said that hydroelectric power stations work by building a dam, which will cause the water to fill upwards. Eventually, they open a little opening at the bottom, which causes the water to rush through, spinning the turbines and continuing on. As the turbine spins, it creates electricity. So since we have water that is higher up rushing down, we have to have gravitational potential energy, and since the turbine is spinning the generator, which is creating electricity, at the end we are going to have electrical energy. We are in the middle of page 31 with energy flow diagrams. Energy transformations can be represented by means of a diagram. The type of energy is enclosed in a box, and its transformation to another form is shown by means of an arrow. When one type of energy is transformed into two different forms, two arrows are drawn out of the box as shown below. And here we have an example with fireworks. So when a firework is built, it is built using a lot of chemicals that eventually burn up or explode. Whenever something burns, we said that that would be chemical energy. As the firework is lit, it will shoot upwards into the sky. So as it is moving, that chemical energy has changed into kinetic energy. Now as it keeps on going further up, that kinetic energy starts to reduce and it will become gravitational potential energy. Finally, at the very top, all the energy will be transferred into light, heat and sound energy when the firework opens up. There will be light because we will see it explode. Since it is an explosion, there will obviously be a lot of heat, and we can always hear fireworks, so that will mean that there is a lot of sound energy as well. Moving on to page 32. Number 2. A jack-in-the-box. For those of you that have never seen a jack-in-the-box, this is what it is. So as we saw, the jack-in-the-box uses a spring, and as you turn the handle, eventually it will pop out. So since it uses a spring, it has elastic potential energy. Eventually, as the puppet pops up, if it is popping up, then we have kinetic energy, and since there is music playing, we also have sound energy. The last example, a moving car. Now for a car to move, it has to have fuel. It has to burn its fuel. If it doesn't have any fuel, it can obviously go nowhere. So since it has to have fuel, we are going to start from chemical energy. That will turn into kinetic energy because the car is moving, but at the same time, it will be turning some of that chemical energy into sound energy and heat energy.